land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna.
Sometimes in this country, the kind of theology we want to follow is one where we put our goodness on the stage, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that if you don't think of it as the what you go through to get your salvation. And that's a problem here in Belize. As a matter of fact, people are not even really and truly understanding what God has done for them. Because if Jesus Christ had to come on this earth to die on that cross, why are we talking about our goodness? As if though that is a replacement for the work of Jesus Christ. It cannot be. It cannot be. If that was the case, then he would not have had to come. And Jesus Christ is God. He's God. It's God who came and died on the cross for your sin and my sin. And there's a story that Jesus tells about a true account of a woman who really and truly was appreciative of what the Lord had done for her. And so we want to turn to that this morning. Luke chapter 7 from verse 36. I want to start from verse 36. It says, "Then one of the Pharisees asked him to eat with him. And he went to the Pharisee's house and sat down to eat." You see, Jesus Christ wasn't one who would just not want to deal with people. He took everything because he's God and he knows what's going to happen. He knows what's going to happen. So what is he doing now? He's showing us the importance of the work that he did. He's showing now that they had to go to this man's house, that he would be able to do this particular teaching, right? And how people view the things of God. So this man, he says, sat down and said, "And behold, a woman in the city who was a sinner." And this is the center of the story. This woman, what this woman did. Says the woman was a sinner when she knew that Jesus sat at the table in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster flask of fragrant oil, very, very expensive perfume. This woman, when she found out that Jesus Christ was there, you see the way she's going to esteem him, the way she's going to treat him. She's going to treat him beyond royalty, because he's beyond royalty. He's our Lord and Savior. And she comes in with this broken heart and this great gratitude for what the Lord had done for her. You see, and that's the spirit that we need to have when we go to church, that we can sing deep songs at his feet behind him, weeping. She was heartbroken when she recognized and was able to appreciate what our Lord had done for her. Just picture the scene of the love and appreciation that was placed on our Lord by this woman. And I pray to God that he takes that as the appreciation I have for him. That he breaks my heart. That I can realize and appreciate who my God is and the love that he has. He said, and he wiped them with the hair of her head. See, the woman with her hair. I watch my wife with her hair. What? She's very, don't mess with her hair. And with our women, they take great pride in their hair. This woman was using her hair to dry the feet of the Lord. great, great appreciation. Now when the Pharisee who had invited him saw this, he spoke to himself saying, this man, if he were a prophet, would know who and what manner of woman this is who is touching him, for she is a sinner. And that's the point right there. She recognized, just like this man, but in different light. One is recognizing in condemnation, whilst one is realizing in appreciation of what the work of what Jesus Christ did. And that's what I think is lacking in our Christian walk today sometimes. People are quick to talk about what they have done for the Lord. Accordingly, people are quick to do that. We can't put what we do in light of what Jesus Christ did. A plate of food, a lodging for a night, a ride in your vehicle, a plate of food in Christmas at Christmas time. We can't put it in the light of Jesus Christ, of him being God, coming to the earth and dying on the cross. That is the high end of the Christian walk that we are connected with. And this woman is showing great appreciation because she recognized, even before this man is saying it, she recognized that she's a sinner. But you see, sometimes, because this is a religious man. This is a religious man. He lacks the ability to see transformation in this lady. But instead, he's remembering her whole life. This is going to teach us a lesson. Be careful what you even think about the Lord, because he hears our very thoughts. And he continues and he said, and Jesus answered and said to him, Simon, I have something to say to you. So he said, Teacher, say it. There was a certain creditor who had two debtors, one who owed 500 denarii and the other 50. And when they had nothing with which to repay, he freely forgave them both. Tell me therefore, which of them will love him more? He's setting this up because some people, and this is something for those self-righteous people who talk about what they have done. You put those things in a place that try to put you on a shelf. And sometimes as a consequence of that, of your goodness, you miss the boat about the appreciation for the Lord. Jesus Christ, is saying that the one who has been taken from farther back will appreciate the Lord more. The bigger the sinner was, the more the person appreciates the Lord, when the person really and truly understands. You know, no matter how big the sinner is, the Lord is willing and able to forgive if you come to the cross. And when you are forgiven, man, have a party. Celebrate. Because something was given to you by someone who you would least expect. But he loves us. He has agape love for us. That's our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize. Land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize. Land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna. of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize, Creole and Garifuna. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef.
Good morning, Belize, and welcome to another edition of Rise and Shine. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning. We are in our first full week of October. Thank you so very much for joining us this morning. We've got a full house and a full program for you this morning. So Kerm, I think, is still out of the country with the guys who are doing volleyball in Central America. So I'm going to start with the weather report. Like last night, all of a sudden, I think that I gone outside and the temperature started drop. I mean, I was like, okay, what's happening here? We're October though, so I guess I don't want to say it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, but certainly it's a beautiful, beautiful day outside across the country of Belize. I'll start with our weather report. It says there is a moderate west to southwest air flow prevailing, which will support generally fair weather. For the next 24 hours, we have sunny skies with few cloudy spells. Tonight's skies will be partly cloudy, with shower activity being isolated. Marine conditions, winds will be from the west to southwest at 10 to 20 knots, with sea state being choppy and waves being 3 to 5 feet. Temperatures, inland 9 to 4 degrees is the high with 72 as the low. On the coast, 90 degrees will be the high with 80 degrees as the low, and in the hills 81 will be the highs with 68 as the lows. Outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night is for similar weather conditions to prevail. So it is going to be a less warm day than some of the days that we've been having over the last week or so. Amazing. We see two storms, one storm right after the other. The current one that is getting ready to affect Florida is a Category 5, and we see that these storms developed in the Gulf of Mexico, threatening the north. But these are in a way unprecedented storms. Just we know that it is late in the year, which means they do form closer to our area rather than coming all the way up from Africa. They form closer, but these are pretty close formations to us and developing into these Category 4, Category 5 hurricanes in very short instances. So yeah, we would say that in a sense Belize is kind of out of the danger zone as we approach November. But is that really so with the erratic way that storms are forming of late? So let's just continue to keep our eyes on the weather. as it relates to, there's a story that's going around with this young lady here in Belize who has like 1.2 million followers on Instagram. I'll be honest with you, well, first and foremost, like, this came out of the blue for me. It's like I never even know somebody that Belize could actually have 1.2 million followers, because we only have about 400,000 people in the country, and if we claim half of them, the adults, only a fraction of that probably on Instagram or social media, and then the kind of content. And I want to say this morning that young lady is still unsure of what happened to her. She is still unsure of what happened to her due to a combination of the lifestyle and what she portrays on Instagram. Because when you listen to the news and you listen to the fact that they allow this person to come into the house, how the person appear as a stranger, how the person appear in a fatigue, how the person was able to gag her, blindfold her, and do all those things, and she still think that they play. That by itself gives you an idea of the kind of content that she creates. Just that gives you an idea that after all of these things are taking place to her, she is still unsure if it is a client or if something is actually happening to her. So sometimes you complain when we talk about the importance of values, the importance of protection and guarding your own personal identity and who you are and what you do for money, that sometimes it is a lot of money and it is a lot of followers, but even the demons will follow you, if I could put it that way, in the sense that you don't know what you are attracting. And I hope for the young lady's safety. I hope that she would reconsider her trade. And I would also hope that nobody gets the idea to try to follow that kind of lifestyle to make money, but that it would serve as the opposite, where people would say, hey, you know what, let's find better ways to make money on the internet. The internet can produce money, it can give you a way of life, but I don't believe that any way of life should either put yourself or anybody else in harm's way. And so I do believe that something happened, but I don't believe that she herself fully understands. I mean, as far as she might concern, she actually think that somebody might put some money in her account, give her back a phone, and then it's just going to be okay because somebody was messing with her. So that is why I believe she appears to be confused. But I think that something actually did happen. And I believe that more and more you learn of some of the things that are happening in your country, and then you go, okay then. So it's like global, like it's globalized, a part of globalization. Unfortunately, some of the wrong things are going global in Belize. But even with that, there are many things that are happening right. There are many, many people in our country that are attempting to join formalized industries, to do things the right way, to bring in the proper expertise, so that the kind of money that we make does not only benefit us individually, but benefits our entire nation. And so I don't know if that's a good enough segue, but the industry we are going to talk about this morning is a positive one. Not saying that dangers don't exist, because cattle is very expensive, and sometimes it attracts the wrong people as well. But it is the kind of industry that we are proud of. It is the kind of industry that we want to safeguard. And so those of you who are into farming you're heading in that particular direction, that you do want to enter agriculture. Cattle is on the livestock, is on the increase. We had the opportunity to work with the Livestock Association, with the Verizon or Verizon project. I forget it, but it begins with V. Voizon, yeah. And I noticed that they have even transformed their headquarters, cutting it up and taking the cattle and doing it what they learned, and bringing other people to come and see. So a lot is taking place in the cattle industry, they say when you get double bank, right, that means that two people are coming against you very powerfully. I don't know if we have a word for quadruple bank this morning, but we have four professionals from the agricultural industry representing OIRSA, AICA, the ministry itself, and Baha. So I think we are well represented this morning. So good morning to all of you. The country representative for OIRSA, Fermin Blanco, good morning, and we welcome you with us this morning. And we're also glad to have Belarmino Esquivel, who is a Principal Agricultural Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture. We're glad to have Dr. Roxana Alvarez, who is a Technical Director for Animal Health at Baha, and we're glad to have back with us. I don't think that Mr. Blanco or Willie are strangers to us this morning, but we welcome you all. Willie, of course, is the Technical Coordinator for the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture. Good morning to all of you, and it's a pleasure having you with us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, maybe we can start a little bit with the current health of livestock in Belize, and you are all leaders in your field and your department. So I don't know who is going to kick off for us this morning. The state of livestock in, I tell you, all of them are leaders in their own.
Hi, good
Doc,
morning.
you are start then.
Yes,
Good
yes,
morning.
I will start, of course. Belize has a very thriving livestock industry, not only livestock but small stock. We are relatively well protected in that we have programs that help our different industries, because of course amongst the livestock industry we have cattle, we have sheep, we have pigs, and then smaller stock we have of course poultry, which don't fall under small stock, but they are also a very large industry in Belize. We have a very organized livestock and small stock sector, as well as poultry sector, and we work together, Ministry of Agriculture, ICA, OIRSA, Baha, to ensure that all of our industries within the agriculture sector are well protected.
I noticed, Mr. Esquivel, that there has been, at least with the change of government, that there was an infusion of energy into the agricultural sector. Tell us a little bit of where we are right now, or the perspective of the ministry as it relates to where we are and where we want to be.
First and foremost, we want to thank you for giving us this space to speak about livestock, Rise and Shine in PlusTV, and we truly appreciate that. I think we have 4 organizations here that are truly have come together to collectively address major issues, health issues in the livestock sector. But indeed, yes, speaking particularly about policies, I think the major policy that the government of Belize, when they took over office, was very important, meaning that we had quite a lot of cattle that were not being exported to Guatemala, and with the change of policy, meaning that they opened up 2 of major outlets, Halacte and Bolitri, to allow for our cattle to be exported, and that in itself helped a lot of farmers to generate income, and of course help for their better livelihoods. In terms of moving forward, yes, we are exporting cattle on the hoof. We want to see how best we can transform productivity. We've made major inroads in terms of genetic development, meaning that we can increase production by just doing genetics, but being complemented with better nutrition, health, and better management. So we look at transforming the sector, meaning that we want to go to the other area where we will go to Caracas, and we are making some studies and evaluating what it would be, if it would be viable for us to move to the next step. Currently we have 200,000 heads of cattle in the country of Belize, and we have about 6,000 cattle farmers that depend fully on this particular industry. And this is all districts involved, and it's generating over $90 million, meaning that it suffices the local market the Mexican and the Guatemala market.
Wow, very, very, very good. No, I know Belizeans, I know we're going to focus on livestock this morning and what's happening worldwide, and then of course how we want to protect Belize. But I don't think we eat enough sheep, not true? Or we eat a lot of chicken, that, I mean, hands down. But sheep, goat, we don't, maybe sheep more than goat. I know that in certain parts of the Caribbean, the goat is a delicacy. I know the goat is stubborn. Sometimes we try with one, and the goat, they lead all the sheep astray. But as it relates to areas that we can improve in, I mean, pig, we definitely again eat a lot of pork in Belize. But how does it look like in that particular area? We see that there's no export market, even though it's on the hoof for cattle. But how does it look for sheep, pigs, and coming up way in the back, the goats? So, and I don't know if I'm missing any more, but at least.
Well, what we have to understand is that Belize, the country of Belize, is self-sufficient in major grains, beans, corn, rice, and we are self-sufficient in eggs, poultry, pigs, and beef, certainly. So that in itself is a great plus for the country of Belize. But nonetheless, I don't want to. I want to mention that apart, there are some major challenges that we also face. Climate change being one of those, and obviously pests and diseases. And I think one of our major topics here today would be to speak about the screwworm, that is a major or an imminent threat to our livestock industry. It affects all warm-blooded animals, and we know for a fact that it has already been moving from South America to Panama and coming up to Honduras. So that is a major threat, and we know the impact that it can have if it enters Belize. So it is not only cattle, it's not only sheep. That is something that we want to focus on in terms of maintaining the agricultural health or the livestock health of our major industries.
Mm-hmm. No, both ORISA and AICA are international organizations, regional organizations. So are you the guys who look out internationally first to see what the trends are as it relates to diseases and I think he already mentioned the trend already. So if it's at Honduras, it's coming. Is that what we say? Talk to us a little bit, maybe from ORISA, Mr.
Okay.
Blanco. You can say.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, ORISA is the International Regional Organization for Health in Agriculture. So what we normally do is we work with our member countries, which are from Mexico, all of Central America, including Panama, and Dominican Republic and Belize. So we try to avoid, in this instance, we knew the problem was in Panama, so we tried to tackle it in Panama by supporting our member states there. But at the same time, we raise up the alarm to the other member countries, to the rest of the member countries, to be on the lookout and to implement preventative measures. So both the pest managed to reach Costa Rica, reach Nicaragua, and now is Honduras. So we put up a proposal for a regional project, which USDA is funding for us, and ICA is involved with all the member states. All those countries that have the presence of the disease, they are on an eradication mode. So they want to eliminate the pests in there. And those that don't have the pests, they are on the preventative measures. They are strengthening their quarantine services. All their efforts go towards prevention. So that is one of the major pests for the cattle industry that we have. But as you mentioned earlier, climate change is causing the resurgence of other pests and diseases. It's not only screwworm that is there, but that's the threat right now. We have African swine fever, which is in the Dominican Republic. We have in plant health, we have the locusts, that there's an outbreak in Guatemala, in Honduras, in Mexico. So there are many other diseases that are there. So our effort goes towards preventing and controlling. In this case for Belize, we're working hand in hand with Baja, with the Ministry of Agriculture, to strengthen the preventative measures especially for this disease, because it's a vibrant industry. We don't want it to die, or we don't want it, any hamper to it, because it's growing. It's small, but it's growing. And also, it not only affects beef, like what Bellarmino said, it affects poultry, it affects pigs, and pigs also. I think Belize is exporting pigs as well. So if that disease comes, all our export will be stopped. So the importing country will put restrictions until we can declare ourselves free again. But on the meanwhile, all our export will be stopped. So we are trying as much as possible. Our gamble right now is prevention. That's our best tool right now that we have. We have to prevent as much as possible for it to come to Belize. But with knowing that the movement of people, the movement of illegal animals, that is a high risk, that is what has caused the pest to reach where it is right now. So public awareness is very important. So, and one entity alone cannot do it. It has to be a combined effort. In this case, we have the Ministry of Agriculture, we have BAHA, we have AICA, OIRSA, and even the general public, the associations of livestock, poultry, BLPA, the pig. And everybody has to join forces, because one entity alone cannot stop it.
Right. No. This is a fly, Mr. Chan. I mean, no borders per se, too. But Mr. Blanco talked about the illegal movement, because I mean, you could examine, you're tracing, you've set up this entire network national that you can track every animal, all of these types of stuff. But it's a fly. Also, I mean the vector per se. So did we, and when I say we, I'm talking regional area, the Americas, did we have it under control at one point in time? Because we haven't heard about screwworm for a very long time. Did we have it under control, and is it the changing climate or whatsoever that's allowing the resurgence? What's behind the resurgence?
Yeah, it was eradicated in the early 90s when the problem initially started here in Belize. And it was through a combined effort, like what Mr. Blanco had mentioned, and also through funds from the US government. It had to do a lot with the good practices that you promote in your livestock industry, especially when it comes to treatment of wounds, because this fly is attracted to open wounds. So what happens is the fly would come, lay its eggs in 21 days, then you have an average of between 200 to 400 more flies. That combined with...
From that one room, from that one lane.
Yes,
wow.
So imagine if you have at least 3 fly laying that room, then you're speaking about roughly 1,000 larvae that would then turn into flies. And yes, it was eradicated in the whole of Central America. However, due to climate change and then I think relaxed practices, I would say, and then the illegal movement of people and animals, it started coming again from South America. Now countries are doing their part. They are doing movement control, they are doing quarantine, and they are also using the technique of sterile fly insects, which they release sterile males in the environment so that then they could, in a certain way, help the mating process to avoid the multiplication of these flies. Now, in Belize, we don't have it. The fly, we don't have it now. That's why we are focusing on doing a lot of sensitization and awareness, and we have started with producing some materials and putting some information out there so that the public, they start to understand that this is a serious threat, not only to livestock but even to us humans, and the economic impact that this would have in terms of if it would be here and affecting. Bellarmino had mentioned that the livestock industry alone is a $90 million industry. We have the poultry industry, we have the pig industry. All these industries combined, it would be a significant blow that it would deal to the country. So with regards to sensitizing the public, I think that is our best bet right now, and also enforcing our movement controls and making sure that everyone is in compliance, and especially if it were it to arrive here, to be able to report and notify.
Okay. Doc, we're saying that this fly does not create the wound. It's attracted to the wound.
30 years ago, we could safely say that
Yes.
it didn't necessarily create the wound. The fly that we find now in the region, in Central America, is far more aggressive.
Wow.
They have mutated and they have evolved to actually be able to use mucous membranes. So there doesn't need to be an open wound, and that's why inspection and regular inspection of your animals is crucial. And when we talk about your animals, we're talking about from your dog and cat all the way to your cattle, your pigs, even poultry are affected less than other species. And then you have to consider the fact that it is a zoonotic disease, meaning that the fly lays eggs on humans also. We've had cases in Central America, actually we've had too many cases in Central America, when in one country you've had 32 cases in humans, and we've actually had death in humans in Central America. And that is one thing that we need the public to understand. It's not only about cattle, it's not only about pigs or sheep, you know, it's about all warm-blooded animals across the board.
So the rebound, the rebound of
stronger and harder.
yeah.
And that
Yeah,
is why
wow.
we, you know, part of the reason why we continue to team up to work together on planning as a major component of prevention. Right? Prevention is better than cure, always.
No.
It's less expensive.
Yes, of course, of course. Now, where does this animal live? Not all of our viewers are farmers, but now you've showed us just through this conversation that everybody can play a role, that everybody can be affected, that this needs to be something that not just farmers need to pay attention to, but that everybody needs to, the entire population. So, you know, like if we're dealing with malaria or dengue, we have an idea of where the vector resides, and then it attacks or launches from that area. So we already understand that the laying of the eggs are taking place in the wound or now in the mucosal areas. So like we can go on a cleanup campaign for for malaria, for dengue, and the vectors. So for non-farmers, we got dog. So yeah, you're right. How can people just where does that mosquito live? Where does it? We know where it breeds, but where does it live?
In the case of the New World screwworm fly, all she needs is living tissue, right? She does not lay eggs on dead animals. She does not lay eggs on the feces of animals. She needs a wet, moist, or soft spot, and that's why we're saying that the mucous membranes are very important. And we're talking about nostrils, we're talking about the anus, vulva, all of those areas that are very sensitive. The navels of newborn animals. Although there might not necessarily be an open wound, there is the scent of blood, and that is what she's attracted to, right? Now, what's interesting about the fly is that once she finds a spot and she lays her eggs, she lays between 250 to 400 eggs. All of that starts to grow. It literally hatches into larvae, stage 1 larvae. Stage 1 larvae are what start to eat tissue. This is not beefworm, right? The big difference between beefworm and screwworm is that beefworm the larvae only need a moist, soft spot for them to continue their process. Screwworm needs to eat. It needs to feed. So it's going to eat.
It'll burrow, it'll move.
It burrows,
It'll penetrate.
it moves,
Wow.
it consumes live tissue.
Okay.
Now, I had someone tell us a couple of weeks ago, well, 30 years ago it didn't kill my animals.
Yes.
Well, guess what? 30 years ago it wasn't as strong as it is now. First of all, because of where it is, and especially in newborn animals whose navels aren't treated, you know, what do? They start to consume, it turns into a big wound. Next thing you know, there are 200, 300 larvae eating inside, and what do they get to? The first thing they get to are organs. So if maybe 30 years ago that didn't happen, it is happening now. It's taking approximately 2 weeks of untreated wounds for animals to start to die because it's consuming. It's creating, large openings, large wounds, and this is why inspection of your animals, keeping a close eye on everything from your cat to your dog to your cattle, your sheep. Someone said, well, I have 200 animals. How is it that I'm going to inspect all of them? Guess what?
One
this
fly.
Is your investment. All it needs is one
Yeah,
fly.
one fly.
And they do catch a ride. They do catch a ride. This is interesting, right? Because we've had cases where flies have been found where they're not supposed to be. Let me put it that way. We're grateful that it was a dead fly, and this is in the region, not in Belize. We're grateful that it was a dead fly and it was a sterile fly. But at the same time, it moved from one country to the other.
It made it catch a ride.
It was catching a ride. So there are many ways that this fly can move and has moved from one country to another. It has moved from out of South America, where it was endemic, back to Panama, moved to Costa Rica, into Nicaragua, and now it's all the way in Honduras.
Yeah, and we have these migrant movements that have been taking place, and then we certainly have had. They said, once you live close to the border, you will have movement across those borders, animals, meat, whatever it is. So we are in a more not only is the fly more aggressive from what I'm hearing, but the social dynamics has changed as compared to 30 years ago. So a farmer having the attitude of, well, that could be very, very dangerous to all of us if we don't see the urgency of the matter. Everybody will have to play their role in this. Now, medication, treatment, or when the first, if God forbid, but should there be the first red flag that someone in country has identified this thing, what happens? What's next? We are on the lookout right now, but what's next? What's the plan?
There's a process to all of this, right? First of all, what we're doing, and this is across the board, because it isn't only a matter of, by now, it isn't only a matter of livestock or small stock or Ministry of Agriculture. We have a joint effort going on between the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Agriculture, our entities, OIRSA, BAHA, ICAM, and the Ministry of Sustainable Development and Climate Change through their Forest Department and their Department of Environment. And the reality is that it is all of our jobs to carry out surveillance, because surveillance has to be across the board, right? It has to be all the way from humans, because yes, we do have migrations, and that's a daily thing. We do have movement across borders. So it's a large effort on the part of our country, on the part of our government, to ensure, and its partners, to ensure that if we start to see strange larvae, strange maggots, that they are reported, right? Notification is crucial, and that's why all of the materials that we've been sharing and all of the training that we are working on and carrying out is actually focused on notification. Why? Because once there is notification, then there is a process to take samples, to preliminary identify in Belize, and that is sent afterwards to our reference laboratory. The World Organization for Animal Health has reference laboratories in different regions, right? One of them, or the one related to screwworm, is in Panama, and we have partnerships. This is a part of our everyday job and our everyday work, is to ensure that we have partnerships across the region and across the world, so that we're up to date on the latest, so that we're anticipating this. If you remember, we started the process of reminding people about screwworm a year and a half ago, right? It was very far away.
Yeah, very far away at the time.
And this is why planning is a huge part of preparation, and preparation is crucial to ensuring that we don't get to the point where other countries are. Our concerted effort of all of these ministries of government and our partner industry, our partner organizations, is crucial to ensuring that we tackle it as soon as it gets released. Right?
All right. Now, as I said, I had the opportunity, probably last year it was Vison, and there's a huge gap between farmers, right? There are farmers that are very knowledgeable on top of their game, they're inspecting their animals, and then you have the crew where still maybe they have one or two cow, and they're like the weather, the how you do that. They're really in the stage where they want to learn. Like I was really impressed with the hunger for knowledge, but I also saw the knowledge gap between the technical support and many of the farmers. So there may be farmers that know how to inspect, they're on top of their game, and then because one person only got 2-3 cow on the side, is so involved in other areas, but it's the same threat right across the board, right? And so should inspection increase? What's the best practice right now for a farmer, be it the one who watch a flock every day and the one that we just send out the cow in the nearby yard and just say eat and then pull her back home? What should be the best practice? How should I go through my cow or my animals so that I can know what is happening to my herd?
It's all about education, and that's where we are starting right now, as Dr. Alvarez had mentioned. We are doing right now a series of trainings starting at the technical level, because we want the technical people to first understand and be able to, for this to serve as a refresher of what this pest can do. Once they are identified, we will move into the other phase, which is the public sensitization and awareness. And this is where we will be moving to all districts with a team, of course, the team that you see here, and we will be providing this type of education to all the community where we are present and visiting. So we are doing a lot of materials, producing a lot of materials in different languages. We have in English, Spanish, Garifuna, Maya in the 3 languages, and also we'll be producing in German. And this is because we want to make sure that everyone understands what is their responsibility. And yes, the first thing is to be able to observe, just to try and see if something is out of the usual that you would see in your animals, if there's an unusual wound or if there is any unusual worms or maggots, like was mentioned, and to be able to notify, because if you see something that you are not used to or don't know what it is, notify, and we have the numbers there so that they could notify Baja immediately. And also we will have there the extension officers and the ALEs from BLPA, and the public health inspectors and the community health workers will also be doing their part in this.
Additionally, I think the management practices has to change. It cannot continue the way it is right now, because on handling the animals, on castrating, whatever you do, dehorning, you have to treat the animals now. You cannot leave the wound untreated, because that, in the event the fly is around, that will attract the fly. We don't have it, but we have to start to implement now, so that whenever, it's just a matter of time. But the prevention measure, we have to adopt it now.
The best practices.
I just would like to add that apart from what my colleagues have mentioned, I think it's very important to note that, and I think this has been highlighted to a certain extent, that if you're noticing maggots, larvae, I think the surveillance part, or for you to be able to appreciate at your farm on a day-to-day basis what is going on with your cattle and reporting it with the authorities, competent authorities, could be OIRSA, Baja, and the ministry, I think it's very crucial, very important. Additionally, what I want to add, what Mr. Engineer Willie has mentioned about the training aspect. We are embarking on a 3 days training, meaning that we will have about 40 technicians. Just on the ministry alone, all technical officers will be trained for them to be able to identify, detect, and know how to treat these if it enters Belize. And we are having the industries as well being trained, the BLPA officers who are going to be trained in the specific areas of detection, and being able how to address and how to recommend to farmers. I will advise farmers at this point in time that you need to be very vigilant, very observant in the wounds, in the mucous membranes. If you see any maggots, please report it quickly, because what happens if it enters Belize, the additional process, and I think we need to add on to this, is that there's a buffer zone, there's a quarantine areas, there are movement controls that will be set out, and this is collective effort. So we will know when animals, let's say if there's a report case in Toledo, we will quarantine Toledo definitely, and we will put control movement restrictions of animals from Toledo coming up to the central or the northern zone. Very importantly is that those animals will be inspected. So the call to the farmers is that they know that the price right now is at $2.85 per pound on the hoof. Let them know that if Mexico is able to know that we have screwworm, they will immediately put a stop to our exports. And that means upon detection, upon reporting, officially reporting the pest, screwworm, thereafter, until we eradicate, it might take us a month, 2 months, it might take us a year. Thereafter, we'll have to prove to our export market that we are 18 months free for us to gain back the market. And prices are expected to go down. And there is a big impact social-wise. I'm telling you that there are 6,000 cattle farmers registered in the entire country of Belize. 70% of those cattle farmers own between 50 heads or less. So it is a small business operation, meaning that it is in the hands of small farmers. And hence the reason why education right now, sensitization has been committed from all angles: Ministry of Health, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Forestry, Belize Livestock Producers Association, the Pig Council, the Area Association, and working together with our partners, AICA, OIRSA, BAHA, and the ministry to ensure that we sensitize our farmers and they understand deeply how devastating this could be and impactful into their pockets.
Yeah, I am very, very grateful that you guys have come. And I think the representation that you see here this morning should serve to show to the nation that number one, it is a serious threat, and number two, that there is a united effort that's there to protect this industry. I mean, $90 million and growing, $90 million and growing. And a lot has been put in. It's like you're putting a lot of work. So now you want to also protect your work, not to protect your industry. Now, early detection, if you are able to detect early like that, that flag goes up from the first or second appearance at the egg stage, as the egg stage, and then somebody sees something strange, they could call it in. Then you guys can be right there with the solution, no? And so you can keep it at bay, or at least slow down the particular progress. So it's like every eye and everybody who is involved in it, every eye is a part of this same network, right? Because the earlier you catch it, it goes, it can help. Now, treatment. Is the treatment going to be local? Do they need to call in the experts? Certainly early on, they might not be sure of what they see. So anything that is outside of norm, they need to call. Am I correct?
Anything that is outside of norm needs to be notified.
Right.
Because once it is notified, then we have a process in place that we need to follow. And when you said just now, every eye needs to be on it kind of centers exactly what we need to understand, right? A lot of times, cats and dogs, pets are forgotten, right? And this is why we've also included members of the Vet Association to be part of our training. We've included the first set of partners directly related to the forest industry, to the forest department. Why? Because it also occurs in wild animals, right? So we have to consider that when the proper term to use is One Health. Everyone likes to use that term, but the reality is that it's everyone.
That's really
and it can affect any warm-blooded animal. So you have to consider from tapirs to jaguars to kinkajous to cats and dogs to, you know, everything and everyone that is warm-blooded. So that's kind of the effort. Not only is the public asked to notify and to inspect their animals, but carry out the practices that are a part of management, right? And that is generally treatment of the navel of newborn animals, treatment of the wounds when there's dehorning, treatment of the wounds when there's castration. If your animal gets scraped on the barbed wire, treat the wounds. Why? Because if you treat the wound, there is less chance that the fly will have somewhere to lay her eggs, less chance that she will be attracted to whatever minor wound there is, even if there's just a drop of blood postpartum, you know, after giving birth. Cows normally are messed up, or pigs or dogs or whatever. Clean the area, ensure that there's no scent of blood, so that the flies are not attracted to lay their eggs there.
Yeah. No, medication, cure. We've talked a little bit about the watching. We've talked about identifying and so on. Is there treatment? I mean, can the cattle be saved? Because sometimes if they think the cattle can't save, why should I report this? Should I this? Should I that? You know.
Definitely they can't be saved, but we would need to be able to take our samples first, and then we help to treat the wound, right? It's something that the earlier that it is caught, the better chance of recovery and the faster the animal will recover. Of course, as producers, you will need to ensure that you are prepared for these things, and there are special sprays and medications and powders that we can use to treat wounds to prevent, and we can actually use to treat the actual infestation, right? But this is why it's crucial to notify, because this is where we come in and assist not only the Ministry of Agriculture and BAHA on the ground, but then we're also considering all the other partners who will be able to assist with this. Generally, notification is to BAHA, through the Ministry of Agriculture, or through any of our other partners in this.
Okay, life cycle. I know one of you had mentioned the life cycle just briefly in passing. So let's go through it now. So this pregnant female finds a womb, lays an egg. How many days for the egg? Like
24 hours later,
that
egg will hatch into larvae, into stage 1 larvae.
Okay then.
And then it continues to stage 2 larvae, stage 3 larvae, and it pupates. Now, when it pupates, it's because it's already almost ready to turn into a fly. Once it moves from pupation to a fly, you went from one fly that laid 200 eggs to
over 200, you said.
Exponentially growing to over 200 that were dead. And that takes a maximum of 19 to 21 days.
For the entire cycle to complete itself. All right.
And then 3 days after she emerges from the pupa, she's ready.
Wow, 3 days. Wow,
so you understand why
yes, absolutely.
And notification is
absolutely
to the control of spread.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I think what's very important to
mention.
That
one sinking.
What's very important to mention is that farmers, let us not get it wrong, that this is not a message only for cattle producers.
Yes.
This is a message going out to those who want pets, that become cognizant and aware that if there's any wound or there's any maggots, larvae, to report it. And I think the collective efforts, meaning that it's not only from a technical standpoint, from the executive level too. I think yesterday we had a meeting, a steering committee meeting, a project steering committee meeting of the schoolworm, where we met with the minister, and the minister himself is cognizant that he will need to go to cabinet to lobby for additional funding, because this is a non-stop. We're being proactive rather than reactive. We want to do as much as we can to prevent from coming in, but if it does come in, I think what's very important is we have the protocols, we have the plans in place, how to go about doing it. It's not something that they will get into the country we don't know. We will be haphazardly doing stuff. No, we have things that have been instituted in close collaboration with ICA and OIRSA, funding from USDA as he mentioned, but the funds are not just enough, meaning that we will still have to meet at the Ministry of Finance and go to cabinet, prepare a cabinet paper by the way, and minister will take it to justify why why we need additional funding to continue with this effort. As you know, yes, we speak about $90 million industry, but it is more than that. When you look at the investment, capital investment, the trade-offs that happens, or the economies of scale that happens when you have all these people selling their pasture seed, live fencing, or it impacts quite a lot of people. It is an industry that it impacts a lot, no? So we want to prevent as much as possible, but if it does kicks in, Baja has devised a plan structurally, systematically, how we are going to attack, how are we going to deal with the screwworm. So farmers out there need to be cognizant of this, very much aware, and if you want to protect your industry, you need to do your part. We are doing our part, so we make that call consensuously to everybody to report any case, as has been instructed by our colleagues here.
All right. Closing comments right across, just in case there's anything we have missed.
The project that OISA is implementing at the local level will be acquiring curative materials, kits, field kits, so that when the Baja personnel, the ministry personnel respond to a suspect case, then they are prepared to pick up a sample, cure the animal, and take all the necessary precautions for the sample to reach where it's supposed to reach at Baja for its official identification. Even though it might not be screwworm or other pests, but we need to report that, and the technical people will be equipped to pick up a sample and send it to the official lab from Baja.
Okay. Really?
Okay, thank you very much. And yes, in closing, give the last message about be on the lookout and remain vigilant, because together we could keep it out of Belize.
Thank you for having us. We need to appreciate the fact that you are willing to have us here. This is a matter of national interest. It's a matter of regional interest, and it's a matter of international interest, right? We have to focus on the fact that Belize is free, but it is our collective duty, not only as the competent authority, the different ministries and our partner organization, but as Belizeans, we have a role to play. The legal movement of animals is what has caused the continued spread. The illegal movement of animals is what, and it has been proven over and over again that that is what is causing the continued spread in Central America. As Belizeans, we have our role to play. As Belizeans, we need to be able to keep our animals in our eyesight, to keep them, inspect them, to look at them regularly and see if there's anything strange going on, any strange wounds. And once we see that, then we need to say, all right, we need to notify. Why? Because early detection is what is going to assist us to help all of us to ensure that the continued spread doesn't happen in Belize. Thank you.
All right. Gentlemen?
Yeah, I'd just like to say again quickly to all farmers out there to be on the lookout, and remember that if we all come together and we all do our part at the farm level, at the household level, and we all tackle it, it will not be difficult for us to detain and contain this pest. The weaker points will be those that will just lay back, not report, not take care of their animals, and it will just allow for more spread. So let us take care of our industry, let us take care of our pockets, the money that is generated from these. We depend, for livelihoods depends on these industries, so let us protect our very own cattle, let us safeguard our health, and let us safeguard our markets that we have out there.
All right. One health.
That's right.
All right, everybody in it together. Thank you very much, team, for coming and joining us. And we're always grateful when we can at least educate our viewers across the nation about agriculture, the benefits of it, the good times, the things that we're making money, and now that which is vulnerable that we need to look out for. So thank you very much. Please, we'll take a break and then we will be right back. You're watching Rise and Shine on PlusTV.
Land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize. Land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize, sweet Belize.
The deals continue this X-massive season. Starting December 11th until December 23rd, it's 12 straight days of massive deals with up to 25% off on selected items each day. From lights and fans to appliances and more, you get a new opportunity to take advantage of a new item on sale. Check out our website and social media platforms for updates every day. Deals, V-Bucks, rewards, everything is massive this season at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you've been waiting for. In this corner, we have the masters of limitless power and unbeatable connections. Pioneers of 4G LTE in Belize. It's the undefeated champion, Smart. And in the other corner, struggling to keep up, it's the other guy. Fight! Tired of getting blow after blow from a plan with the other guys? It's time to tap out and join the winning postpaid plan provider. Smart's postpaid plans are a total knockout to the competition, and they have once again powered up their postpaid plans. Sign up for one of Smart's boosted postpaid power plans today and experience the victory of superior service. Smart, bringing people together.
Today is indeed a wonderful day, a special occasion in which we celebrate the completion of a very important and intense training program for our 16 women of the Tumul'u Women's Group.
This is an opportunity for them to help themselves being an entrepreneur because as you have heard, some of them are single mothers, some of them are self-challenged, and so that's the reason why we really support this project.
At the beginning of the training, I didn't know how to pedal a sewing machine. But today, I am glad to say that the sewing program is indeed a wonderful opportunity.
Each one of us made these, and it's just simply to show you the work they put in to allow us to have such great skills. And they're not skills just for now, but it's skills that, you know, will stay with us forever.
We have to empower our women, empower young people so that they can generate their own money, their own income, and provide for their families.
With 30 years of experience, Builders Hardware has been your trusted one-stop shop for building supplies and construction materials. We're not just about products, we're about exceptional service and excellent prices. Plus, with unbeatable prices on renowned brands and the largest selection of construction supplies available, why go anywhere else? Got a project on your hands? Let us lighten the load. Whether you're tackling the biggest commercial project or the tiniest home renovations, our dedication and commitment ensures that you get the best. Roofing materials, check. Cement and steel, check. Sand and gravel, double check. And if you don't see something you need, just ask, because at Builders Hardware, we've got you covered from construction start to finish. Call us or visit us on Constitution Drive in Bloemfontein and experience the difference. Oh, and did we mention, we offer convenient delivery services anywhere in Belize, so you can focus on your project while we handle the logistics. Builders Hardware, 30 years of serving you. We think our customers are awesome.
Builders Hardware.
Attention Belmopan residents. This is an important reminder regarding the proper disposal of debris in our community. As per Statutory Instrument Number 122 of 2005, Section 10, Subsection B, Residents are strictly prohibited from placing debris on the buffers. Violating this regulation is considered a ticketable littering offense. Residents are encouraged to use private contractors or contact the Belmopan City Council to make arrangements for debris disposal. If you need assistance with debris disposal, please contact the Sanitation Department at 822-2271 extension 2019. This message is brought to you by the Belmopan City Council. Let's work together to keep our beautiful city clean and safe. Thank you for your cooperation.
Belize City residents, the government of Belize, the European Union and the United Nations Development Program, in collaboration with the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics and E-Governance, your Belize City Council, and the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Transport have some exciting news. Get ready to navigate our city aboard 2 modern electric buses. Here is the official Belize City E-Ride bus route. Starting at Albert Street into Regent Street, into Water Lane and Baghdad Street, onto Muscle Street, Vernon Street, Youth for the Future Drive over the Bell China Bridge, onto Douglas Jones Street, Cinderella Plaza, Kelly Street, Bayman Avenue into Princess Margaret Drive, Coney Drive, turning left onto Buttonwood Bay Boulevard, right onto the Philip Colson Highway, keeping in the right residential lane, turning at the Benny's Roundabout onto Chetumal Street, turning at the roundabout at the intersection of Faubers Road and the George Price Highway, returning onto Chetumal Street, onto Barbara Harris Street, LaCroix Boulevard, Mahogany Street, Central American Boulevard, onto Cemetery Road, Orange Street, and returning to Albert Street. These electric buses arrive every 30 minutes at each bus stop. As you embark on this journey, remember that every ride is a step towards cleaner air, less pollution, less congestion, and a solution for a more sustainable future for Belize City. Stay tuned for more details about this new mode of transportation.
Rising prices got you down? Well, let Benny's lift you up in these tough financial times. Right now, get low prices on construction materials, such as rebar. And whenever you make a purchase, remember to get your B-Box, which is free money. Only at Benny's, quality and savings.
Hi, I'm Halima Hoy, and I'm here to talk to you about something that is very close to my heart, the importance of education. Education has been a journey for me, filled with challenges and triumphs. It has shaped who I am today. A stable internet connection has been essential in helping me accomplish my task and succeed in my education journey. That's why I'm so grateful to NextGen for their commitment to investing in educational efforts, building the next generation of learners. This summer, NextGen is donating 1,000 school bags and providing one-year internet scholarships to selected students in various communities. Because every child deserves the tools they need to succeed. Thank you, NextGen, for making a difference in the lives of our future leaders.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize, Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sun.
Segment where we were discussing the screwworm. The screwworm is not a worm, by the way. It is the larvae of a fly. So the fly has eggs, and then the eggs become larvae, then it moves to a pupa, then after that it becomes a fly again, after which 3 days it's ready to lay. So this is a disease that can potentially, if we as a country are not on top of things, it can really devastate the livestock industry, which is a $90 million industry. And so I think that the effort that we see here this morning from OIRSA, Baha, AICA, and Ministry of Agriculture shows the seriousness with which the agricultural industry is taking this disease. This disease is not yet in Belize, but it's already in Honduras. It has worked its way up from South America, so it's going to appear here at some time, and hopefully if everybody plays their part. Previously, 30 years ago when it was here, you heard them saying that it was not as aggressive a fly because it had to find an open wound. Now it can attack a perfectly healthy animal through the mucosa, which means like nose, mouth, air, these kind of openings that may have mucus, giving birth, when the animal is giving birth, etc. And then, even though it's a livestock issue, you heard that being a fly that can affect any animal, it can be in the wild or in your pets, such as your cats and dogs. So everybody really needs to pay attention to protect our agricultural industry. At the top of the hour, beginning the show 7 o'clock this morning, I did talk a little bit about this internet young lady, social media. These are influencers. I'll be honest with you, most influencers that I see don't influence people in the right direction, but in the wrong direction. And it just shows you that some of these things can be very, very dangerous, because that person could have harmed or even killed that young lady. So we need to be careful what kind of patterns we follow. We need to be careful how we make our money. So we can see something in America or some other country and say, well, we will try that here. Belize, it doesn't, you know, I know that the police department say that crime is down and so on, but this is not really true. There's a lot of crime that goes unreported, and sometimes several different countries do it. You will see that in United States, even right now, the Biden administration is saying crime is down, and the Trump campaign is saying no, crime is really up. And sometimes you bring all the crime together, but you have to look at serious crime by itself. You have to look at the different kinds of crimes separately to see trends that are taking place. So to say crime is up or crime is down is just a generalized term. But I saw a YouTube, again, another Belizean, this is probably Belizean American, he come to live in Belize and he makes videos. More and more people are making videos now, so you really can't hide the facts or the truth from people anymore, because you didn't report it, and so it doesn't make it to the police blotter. But people are talking, and this American, he has a sizable following as well. He has his YouTube channel, and he talked about the fact that over the last couple of months, several Americans, Americans who come to live in Belize, that robbers went into their homes and held them up and took away their valuables. So you can try to manipulate the local media, but people have YouTube channels now, and they are saying what is happening to them. Even if they don't go to the police or the police don't bring the story to the media, we will look into the media and say, why we not say no home invasion, but the people are reporting home invasion happening. Yesterday, a particular location in Belize. I just won't say where. But again, the farmer is getting ready to sell his entire farm and to move out. Why? Because too much home invasion are taking place. They tie them up, beat up their workmen, take their vehicle and go off with it, and they're not found. So you have, it affects real estate, it affects investors that want to come into the country, it affects the farmers. You know, some of these Mennonites, they don't report how much what has happened to them. If there's a robbery, somebody come in and they have watermelon just like that, and the person hold them up and take their money. Sometimes these Mennonites, they don't, you know, they don't want to be in the media. They're not going to want to go to the police, and then these things are not reported. But because we do more than news and we do other things and we move around and so on, then people begin to say, you know, 1 month ago, 2 months ago, this happened on this road, this happened to this particular farmer, and we get the information still. So perceived crime is different than actual crime rate. And I would dare to say that perceived crime is even more important because of how you feel. Whether or not one story that is so gruesome makes you feel insecure and unsafe. So looking to show the crime and say, no, crime down, to a person who is negatively affected by crime does not help in any way. All right, so I gotta go for now. It's 8:30. It's a very, very, very busy day. We're grateful that you tune in to Rise and Shine, and tomorrow we will have more for you. From all of us at Rise and Shine, thank you to our technical team and to those to our producers who make sure that these shows have the proper guests to come and educate our Belizean people. From all of us here at Rise and Shine, God bless you, Belize. See you tomorrow.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go?